for lack of knowledge. And there were some things we did not know about boats that almost sank our boat. And I know as Michelle and I became new parents 29 years ago, it's been a while, but there was a lot of things that we did not know about parenting. There's a lot of things we did not know about the Christian life, and we're still learning today. But yet, there's a lot of things that we failed as parents. And we made bad decisions or bad mistakes, and it cost our family.
You will not believe what these prison emails just exposed about Anna Duggar. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're breaking down a story the mainstream media is completely missing. It involves secret messages between Josh Duggar and another inmate's wife, a convicted doctor running a pill mill, and Anna Duggar acting as the middlewoman, possibly breaking prison rules along the way. There's a name you haven't heard in the Duggar coverage, a woman who became Anna's closest friend in record time. Her husband is a former doctor named Joel, and his case was massive on the East Coast. We're talking a nationwide scandal. Joel was sentenced to 40 years in prison back in 2019 for running a pill mill. What most people don't know: Joel and his family were deeply involved in the same religious organization as the Duggars. His brother and father were also part of it. This was a wealthy, well-connected family. Joel actually went through the same training programs as many young men in that circle. He became a medical doctor. Anna's wife, let's call her Angel, became very close with Anna very fast. Why does that matter? Because Angel was supposedly a huge support to Anna, helping her hold on to the belief that her husband was innocent. But here's the catch. Sources say Angel privately told people her own husband was guilty. And just last month, she filed for divorce from Joel after his second conviction. Let me read you part of an email Angel sent to Josh Duggar. She wrote about how strange it was to use the same messaging service she and Joel used when he was in county jail. She said Joel was devastated, crying and praying in his cell. Then she said something striking. You and Joel have a ministry and a testimony that will be even more amazing after the next miracle. She called Anna closer to her than her own siblings, after knowing her only about 4 months. Think about that. For months, and she's closer than family. She even joked that Josh and Joel could have been brothers. And she mentioned planning Anna's birthday together in Texas, asking Josh what he'd like to do to make it special. In another message, Angel wrote that Joel kept asking her every phone call, "How is Josh?" She said it was oddly comforting to have someone who truly understands what it's like to go through this. She admitted she and Anna had never even met each other's husbands in person, yet they felt like they'd known each other forever. She laughed about homeschooling swimwear from their honeymoons, something only someone from that background would understand. She said God brought them together in their lowest points. And she even mentioned that Joel probably led a conference for one of Anna's siblings years ago. They were in the same circles but never met until now. Here's where it gets legally problematic. Prisons and detention centers have a strict rule. Inmates cannot communicate directly with other inmates, whether in the same facility or a different one. It's a violation of policy and often state regulation. But Anna knew Joel and Josh couldn't talk to each other directly. So she put herself in the middle. She would forward messages from Joel, who is in federal prison, to Josh. That is not allowed. Let me give you an example. On February 9th, 2022, Joel wrote a long message to Josh full of Bible verses, book recommendations, and encouragement. He mentioned a book called The Shack and another spiritual read. Then at the end he said, "Love you, bro." Anna forwarded that whole thing to Josh. Another message on February 24th, more scripture, more prayer, more book talk. Joel mentioned Psalm 119 and Psalm 118 and asked them to check out a specific Bible translation. Again, Anna forwarded it. On May 2nd, Joel wrote something even more revealing. He said, "It's crazy to think I watched y'all get married on TLC and the beginning of the car lot, and here we are a few years later encouraging one another in bizarre, twisted circumstances." He asked specifically, "Please share this with Josh." And Anna did. This is the part that should make everyone angry. Joel described Josh's sentencing as a victimless crime. He argued that putting Josh in prison takes away a productive member of society, a business owner, a father, a husband, a taxpayer. He said society needs those people more than it needs more prisoners. Let that sink in. A man convicted of distributing over 500,000 opioid pills linked to 26 deaths is calling child sexual abuse material a victimless crime. That is the kind of person Anna is surrounding herself with. That is the kind of influence she is allowing around her children. I won't go into every detail, but here's the summary. Joel was a doctor in Virginia. In 2015, he opened a clinic and basically ran a pill mill for 2 years. He put over 500,000 Schedule II controlled substances onto the streets, things like fentanyl, oxycodone, hydrocodone. He didn't accept insurance. He charged $450 cash per visit. He saw up to 50 patients a day, and every single one got opioids. No medical procedures, no follow-up care. Just prescriptions and cash. He used addicts as drug mules to transport pills. He sometimes met people at Subway restaurants to hand over drugs. When he was arrested, they found narcotics in his backpack. 26 people died from overdoses linked to his prescriptions. In his first trial, he was convicted of 860 federal crimes. That conviction was later overturned on a technicality, but he was retried and convicted again, this time on 461 counts. At his second trial, he committed perjury, contradicted his own previous testimony, and was found to have obstructed justice. He has taken zero responsibility. He still says he was following standard protocols. The prosecution called him incredibly dangerous, a doctor who violated public trust. He lost his medical license, his DEA registration, and was ordered to pay back over $500,000. He's 42 years old and serving 40 years. He will likely die in prison. According to a source, the Duggars intentionally introduced Anna to Angel so Angel could mentor her. The goal? To make sure Anna would not leave Josh. Angel was standing by her husband despite a 40-year sentence, so she was the perfect example. And it worked. Not only did Anna stay, but she actively helped Josh break prison rules. She forwarded illegal messages. She even helped Josh draft legal documents to try to trick the court. Yes, Anna drafted a rambling motion to vacate for Josh, and then Josh dropped it off at the courthouse himself instead of mailing it, pretending it was sent on time. That is conspiracy to defraud the court. Meanwhile, Josh has been caught with contraband multiple times in prison, including cell phones. And guess who he's always on the phone with?
Anna.
She knows he's not supposed to have those phones. She knows she's helping him rack up more violations, which extend his sentence. At one point, Anna was actually suspended from visiting Josh for over 6 months. But she keeps enabling him. Here's the twist. After all that, after being held up as the loyal wife who stands by her man, Angel filed for divorce from Joel in March of this year. They were married in 2013. He was arrested in 2019. She waited 7 years, then filed. She wants full custody of their kids, child support from an incarcerated man, and supervised visitation for Joel while he's in prison. She also wants to protect her property from the government forfeiture Joel is facing. The writing is on the wall. Joel is never getting out. And now Angel is trying to separate herself financially. But suspiciously, she also helped connect Josh with his current attorney, the same lawyer now representing Joel in his appeal. So Angel is divorcing Joel, but she's still Anna's best friend. And Anna continues to surround herself with criminals and their enablers. I used to feel sorry for Anna. I don't anymore. She has shown, over and over, that she doesn't care about the law. If a rule says Joel and Josh can't communicate, she forwards messages anyway. If Josh needs her to commit a crime, she drafts documents. If Josh is using an illegal phone, she answers the call. She is a willing participant. She benefits from $1 million home while her husband is in prison. She still has custody of children who arguably should not be with her. This is the problem with cult mentality. The women in these groups are often as dangerous as the men, not because they're evil, but because they are so ignorant of the law and so obedient to their husbands that they will break any rule. They follow what their husband says over what the law says. But ignorance is not an excuse. Anna is a grown woman. She is a mother. She is responsible for knowing whether she's breaking the law. Instead, She helps her husband extend his sentence and turns herself into a criminal accomplice. We need to ask serious questions. Why were these messages allowed to go through? Why wasn't Anna barred from contact with Josh? Why hasn't she been charged with anything? The prosecutor has already hinted at obstruction. I wouldn't be surprised if a judge finds Josh in contempt or perjury. And Anna? She's lucky she's walking free right now. Anna Duggar is not a victim. She is a willing accomplice. And her friend Angel, who preached loyalty for years, just filed for divorce the moment the money ran out. That tells you everything you need to know. Now it's your turn. What do you think about Anna's role in all of this? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video made you think, hit that like button. And if you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and click the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.